Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here again after 1 year and to see that the community is growing. I thank everybody who has come, and I'm delighted to having been invited by the German WASH Network to open and chair the WASH and Nutrition Forum today. I'm especially delighted because it was our advisory board on water and sanitation of the Secretary General which had suggested this year's topic of World Water Day, sanitation and nutrition. And it was accepted last year at the Stockholm Water Week by UN Water. There is no doubt that today's forum is a timely and important initiative, and this especially for two reasons. First, it brings the two communities, the WASH and the nutrition communities, together so that you can explore new ways for collaboration over the next 2 days. This is an important first step if we want to achieve more impact with both our WASH and nutrition interventions and ultimately to overcome hunger and malnutrition. And I really, how would you say in English, neidisch? I'm jealous, that WASH was able to bring these two communities together. When our board tried to do this in Rome, we were not successful because there was quite some resistance, but also we wanted to bring in energy. So maybe we were too ambitious. Secondly, the outcome of our discussions today and tomorrow will be an important contribution to World Toilet Day, which we will be celebrating next week. As I have the honor to moderate the main event in New York next Thursday, I hope to be able to carry some strong messages from Bonn with me to New York. Also, more generally, I want to thank the WASH Network for its tireless efforts since having joined forces with the WASH community in Germany in 2011. This network has been instrumental in building up continuous knowledge exchange and a better coordination of programs between partners. The yearly WASH Fora have always been a key event to bring experts, practitioners and policymakers together for a fruitful exchange of views and ideas. I'm grateful that this year's theme on WASH and nutrition even goes one step further by leaving the WASH-only arena and making the link between WASH and nutrition. This is indeed commendable and may be a blueprint for further cooperation, also with other communities. Ladies and gentlemen, in the last decade we have come a long way. In 2004, when our board was established by the then Secretary General Kofi Annan, sanitation was not a priority on the international development agenda. Toilets, excreta and their disposal were unpopular political subjects from the local to the international levels. The world lacked strong champions to raise public awareness and generate concern. Political leaders did not want to be associated with toilets or ending open defecation. Sanitation was shrouded by a strong taboo which prevented open debate and constructive action. I think we can all agree that sanitation and hygiene has gained traction in the international debate over the last 10 years. All of us here today have contributed to this positive trend, and I take this opportunity to thank you all for that. Over the last years, there has been a growing understanding that constant exposure to poor sanitation and hygiene and unsafe drinking water is a major cause of stunting and wasting in children. I'm sure we will learn more about this in a short while from our keynote speaker, Mr. Oliver Cumming. I confess now that I have also used some of your findings in my previous speaks or talks, so I'm happy to meet you here today. The body of evidence on the link of WASH and nutrition is growing, and the nutrition community is taking note. In its most recent report, the International Food Policy Research Institute devoted an entire chapter to WASH and its importance in improving nutrition. The high-level panel of experts on food security and nutrition of the Committee on World Food Security released a report on water for food security and nutrition. It is encouraging to see a move beyond their usual agricultural focus to incorporate the importance of water management and WASH in reaching nutrition objectives. These developments show that the link between WASH and nutrition is gaining more attention and momentum. So this forum comes at a perfect time to bring the theme to the forefront of our debates. We need greater recognition of this link on the international development agenda, and I hope that this year's World Toilet Day will help us to achieve this. To WASH and nutrition communities, the WASH and nutrition communities must capitalize on this opportunity, and again, I urge you all, government representatives who are sitting here, community-based organizations, representatives of academia and the business community to better connect and stay in exchange with each other in the future. But as you are all aware, this is not only about talking. We need to get into structured and strategic way of making the link between WASH and nutrition in order to achieve mutually desirable outcomes and get the buy-in from both communities. Most of you will be aware that Germany has been promoting the Nexus approach, linking water, food and energy security ever since it organized the Bonn Nexus conference in 2011. As the co-chair of that conference, I was very happy when German WASH Network agreed to participate at this conference. In retrospect, the then newly founded WASH Network organized a pretty foresighted panel on no food and nutrition security without water, sanitation and hygiene. This was, I have to mention that because it was really a light tower on the way to here. I think this was quite something which was actually not many people took really note of that, yeah. But it laid the way up to here. Let me congratulate the WASH Network for pursuing this topic ever since by organizing a number of activities to bring this topic forward, be it at consecutive Stockholm World Water Weeks or now this forum. As some of you might know, our advisory board is coming to an end next week, when we will have our final meeting in New York and will share our first and only report with the international community. The report will contain various recommendations for the implementation of the 2030 water agenda. What I can share with you already today, because it is still not on the website, it will be only on the website on the 18th, because the 18th next week we will hand over our report to the Secretary General, so I cannot distribute it now. I'm very sorry for that because it's a very interesting report. But in this report, we will also make strong recommendations for prioritizing the WASH health nutrition link as well as productive sanitation. As the UN member states have just decided upon new global sustainable development goals, let me say a few words about them. In the comprehensive and ambitious SDG 6, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development recognizes the importance of providing access to safe and affordable drinking water and achieving adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all. We have reason to celebrate. With this dedicated goal, water and sanitation have reached official UN status. So there is no excuse whatsoever to neglect water, sanitation and hygiene in the run-up to 2030. But will it be easy to reach the goal and its WASH targets? Of course not. The challenges are vast. But this is not limited to the WASH targets. The same applies for the nutrition targets in SDG 2, the Zero Hunger goal. One key challenge is to make the necessary interlinkages between closely related goals and targets, meaning between the targets related to WASH and nutrition. There are some targets within the water goal that cannot be achieved without the help of other sectors, like the one on efficient and sustainable water use. In my view, the target on ending all forms of malnutrition in SDG 2 cannot be achieved without fixing the world's wash crisis. This is why it is such an important step that we are gathered here today, and I appeal to all of us not to slow down with our efforts. Now, how to reach all that? To have a World Toilet Day celebrated in New York with high-level UN officials, or to have a forum with experts and ministry representatives like this here, are necessary events to spread the word. But it is not enough to change the world. One necessary step in making real change is to reach out and make ordinary people aware of the problems and help to change their behavior. For me, the German Toilet Organization, if I may refer to a national organization, was always a good example for unorthodox activities to reach out and create awareness. I, for example, recall very vividly a public installation that was set up at the heart of Berlin at the Potsdamer Platz, showing 35 figures who were emptying their bowels in the public. With this event, in which I had the pleasure to participate, we could draw attention to the ticking time bomb of open defecation and the harm it does to nutrition security and the dignity to millions of people worldwide. Maybe this is also the right place to remind us that the German Toilet Organization celebrates its 10th anniversary this year. Happy birthday to the GTO. And to you, Mr. Panzerbieter, Thilo, thank you very much and to your colleagues who have done a great job all these years. I think this is worth an applause. A 10th anniversary, yeah? Before I conclude, I just want to say a few words to the World Toilet Day. The 19th of November, an official UN day was established only 2 years ago. And it was not easy to get there. You cannot imagine. The word toilet is not UN language. And there were countries who were fighting against naming it World Toilet Day. They wanted to call it sustainable sanitation. For God's sake, who is understanding out there in the non-expert world what is sanitation, and sustainable sanitation? It must, and so I'm very grateful that others, could push it through and call it World Toilet Day. So we really, we caught the majority of the UN General Assembly, and ultimately reason prevailed. Interestingly enough, at next week's event in New York, the joint WHO, USAID and UNICEF publication will be launched. And its title is Improving Nutrition Outcomes with Better Water, Sanitation and Hygiene, Practical Solutions for Policy and Programs. So I hope that this is going to help. As I said, the outcomes of this forum can be an important contribution to this year's World Toilet Day. I hope that the German government, especially the Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, and I'm looking to Dr. Schmitz, will strengthen the German contribution through explicit support and concrete follow-up measures to this forum, and more generally by reinforcing the WASH and nutrition link within German development cooperation portfolio. Let me close by wishing all of us 2 productive and hopefully also eye-opening days. Because of our board's closing meeting next week, I will unfortunately not be here until tomorrow, so only today, and I thank you very much.
For those opening remarks. And there were some laughs and stuff in the room already. I like the sort of, we're here to work, in these days. And And even if I'm wearing a tie now, who knows, by the end of tomorrow I may have rolled up my sleeves and taken it off, because we want to accomplish some things together. And I would like to, in the spirit of that, we don't have time for detailed introductions, but I would like to, everyone I think is either a little bit more leaning towards the wash side or the nutrition side. And I would just like to make that perhaps a bit visible. I'll make a third option afterwards for those who sort of feel they're the ones who are currently linking. But if you are leaning a little bit more to the one or coming from that sector, please do stand up when it's appropriate. So I would like the wash crowd, please, to stand. Okay. Quite a few people. Okay, please. Thank you. Have a seat. The nutrition crowd, please stand. Okay. A huge accomplishment, because obviously we know a lot more WASH people, and it's a great pleasure to have all of you here. Thank you very much. Perhaps also having those stand who feel it's my obligation to be, this is my job. I'm doing both. I'm sort of within two sectors. Do we have that? Great. Okay. Okay, so some people are standing twice. That's fine. That's fine. And hopefully, if I were to ask the same question at the end of tomorrow, more people would be standing sort of on that last. Some people are rolling their eye. Okay. Perfect. Anyone who knows me, I'm a person of networking. These name tags, even if they suddenly flip, oops, you can still see your name. They're on front and back. I want people to know each other's names, to know the organizations. When you meet at the break, we had this at the SWA meeting the other day. I don't want anyone coming back from a coffee or lunch break and not having met one new person. I may call on you later. Approach someone. We're here to meet people. Please do that. The second plea, and this is just in terms of communication, English is not everyone's mother tongue. So I would encourage everyone to speak slowly, speak clearly. We do have a live stream. Even if you have a loud voice that projects, wait for the microphone. Please say your name, say your organization when you speak, so that people can engage with you based on your comments later. The second thing in terms of communication is sector language. WASH people may talk of the JMP, and nutrition people may not know what it is. Nutrition people may speak of the GNR, and others don't know what it is. So I encourage us all to explain, if we talk of the international year, we must take the time to say of sanitation in 2008, because otherwise people don't know what we're referencing. This is, I think, everything at this point, apart from that the German Toilet Organization always shows people where the toilets are. They're out the door and to the left and right. I think otherwise we have excellent colleagues to assist you with anything you might need. Yeah, I look forward to... No, there's one important thing. Sorry. The agenda. We have 2 days. Yeah? And I was saying we're here to work. So we will have an introduction part we're in right now. We will have mirror sessions, we have 2 podiums up here, people speaking from both sectors. You'll understand how it works after we've gone through the first of these. Really taking time to understand each side individually before we link them. Realize, all of you in the room, you'll be bored by half of the presentations because people will be taking slow steps to onboard the other half of the crowd. But the other half will be all the more exciting, I promise. Then we have a workshop session in the afternoon. We have specific topics that we will be working to in small groups. I'll speak more to that later. And we have a final panel which will help us reevaluate what we've done today and make suggestions for where we want to go tomorrow. The day tomorrow, basically a similar type of setup, some rapid presentations in between. But you will see, quite interactive. We've even left things open on the second day. It's up for us to decide jointly today where this journey takes us tomorrow. Now, there's a little equation that is my motto for this conference. I think we are all here because we fulfill the first one. We are slightly dissatisfied with the way we're working together. And if you multiply this times our vision, which is our goal for day 1, we will develop that today, and you multiply that times some first steps that we can take to embark on this journey, which we will hopefully do tomorrow, this must be greater than our resistance to change and to move. If any of the things at the top are a 0, nothing happens, because they're being multiplied. So this is, I think, the motto that we should view for ourselves, and you will see outside when you leave the room on the wall, you will see a big brown paper, and on the top it has exactly these words. And there are cards there and pens. And throughout the day, anything you want to give to us as a message to one of the presenters or whatever, post it there. Put your business card if you want, sign it if you want. If you don't want to, write messages. We'll be collecting to help us prepare the day tomorrow, and at the end of it, it'll be part of our final documentation. Please use that. You'll be walking past it throughout the days, so let yourself be inspired, and let's do it.